For Business Power Hour. I'm excited to be back for Power Hour. We've kind of taken a little break, but I'm back with an amazing panel today, and we're going to have a great conversation. I'm excited to pick these ladies' brains because you guys know I'm nosy. So I'm like, I've got to know what are the tech things? What are you guys using? I'm going to ask them all the things. So I'm really excited to have this conversation today. I think you guys will find it really, really helpful. There's so many tech tools and just so much stuff. It can be hard to know, like, what do I actually need? Which one should I use? We're going to get into all that stuff today. But let me go ahead and let our guests introduce themselves to you guys. Can you guys just tell everybody who you are, what you do? And of course, they're hooking you guys up with some awesome free gifts today. So I'll let you guys tell them about the gifts you brought as well. Brittany, you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Brittany Schroeder, and I am a business and marketing strategist. I specialize in automation systems, funnels, all of those fun
Oh,
things.
we love it.
Yes. So I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. I mean, it feels like forever, but
You've seen some things, huh?
I've seen it all. But I started with photography. I was a high school senior photographer for 10 years, and I owned a photography magazine. So I got to start there. And then I sold the magazine in 2017. And then I pivoted. I got certified as a life coach. And I moved, and I didn't want a location-based business. So I thought this is a good time to pivot to something that I can just do online. So that's when I went straight to like business and marketing, coaching, and all those things. And I've also worked in the nonprofit sector for like 15 years. And when I say work, I mean volunteer. Like it's not paid, but
even the paid job's a nonprofit. Yeah. I was a social worker, so it feels like you're a volunteer.
Well, you're pretty much volunteering, yeah. So I did some work in Haiti for 4 years, life-changing. And then in 2017, I started my own nonprofit, and I have been doing that. I live in Utah I have a son that is in Brazil for the next 2 years, and a 15-year-old daughter that's pushing me to the verge. So, anyways, that's me in a nutshell.
That's amazing. And then you have a free gift for them?
I have a free gift. So I am big on the automations and funnels. So I have a high converting sales funnel guide that kind of walks you through how to build and set up a funnel. So,
oh, that's awesome. You guys definitely have to go grab that. We just did a big event about funnels like a couple weeks ago. So I know they're working on funnels. If you guys are working on your funnels, or if you're finding like maybe there's little things you need to tweak or refine, you should definitely go grab Brittany's guide. She's the queen of funnels, and she can help you do all that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then Miriam, tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miriam Adeyemi. I am originally from Nigeria. And
awesome. I didn't know that.
Yes, I am. And I live in the US. As you all know, I live in Dallas. And I'm a senior analyst, and I have over 15 years of corporate experience.
Wow, girl.
Yes, both internationally and also locally. And my experience spanned through sales and marketing and analytics. And I have helped a lot of people to get job in the corporate world, both here and internationally, with the skills that I share with them. And I started my career, like I said, in sales, and I did that for a while. And after I pivoted into marketing, and my sales background actually helped me with my marketing career. And then, as you know, as the world changes, we became stronger in the digital space. I pivoted also into analytics. Now I am well rounded, and I also have project management background, and which is why I'm going to talk about a lot of tools that people in the corporate and also business people can use today to improve their businesses, optimize their processes, and also make money while they do that. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Yeah, I love it. And do you have a free gift you want to share with everybody?
Sure. So I have a course on my website. Oh, I didn't tell you about my business, my tech business. I have a tech training.
She's like, oh, just my little, side hustle. No big deal.
Yes.
Tell us about the business. Tell everybody what you do.
Sure. So the name is Techavili, And Techability is a tech training company that helps people that want to learn different tech tools to be up to speed on their job or to get into a new job. And my freebie today is an Excel training course that you can,
Ooh.
whether you are a fresher or like you're a beginner or someone that's currently working on a job, you just want to refresh what you know, you can jump on that course. And I'm going to be giving that out free.
Nice. Awesome. I see a few of you guys hanging out live. If you guys have questions you want me to ask them, you can put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to like selfishly pick their brains. If you guys are new here, I'm Faith Mariah. I am a business mindset coach and strategy coach, and we help people get their businesses up and running. I always say we turn dreamers into doers. So if you've been thinking about having a business and dreaming about launching your course, and you're thinking about it, and you need help making an action plan that you can actually execute, that's kind of me and my team's wheelhouse and what we do. But I'm really excited to get into this conversation. I have to know, like, the first thing I want to ask you guys both obviously are very successful and I'm sure very busy and do all the things, right? As we all do. What is like your can't live without, like you would die without, like kind of to-do list or task manager or planner or system, like for managing all of your daily to-dos? What's kind of like your daily driver, I guess, task manager software? Do you guys have one that you love right now? I'd love to hear what you guys use.
Go ahead, Miriam.
Okay, so I have two favorites.
Okay.
One of them is Trello. I use Trello to organize my task and also assign tasks and responsibilities to people on my team. And I use that to track, okay, the progress. What have you done? Where are we? What is to do? What is in progress and what is concluded? And I use Planner, Microsoft Planner also. So that those two are, they do similar things, but I use them simultaneously.
So you use like Trello for like project management, and then is Microsoft To Do, is that like where you do like your daily, like your plan for the day, or like how do you use them?
So the planner, the Microsoft Planner, is a tool like Trello.
Okay.
So it does similar thing like what Trello does, and what it simply does is you can create your task like a board, and yeah, you have the to do and then in progress and done. So as you complete your tasks, you move them from different tabs to from to do to in progress to complete. So I use that to track, and then we have deadlines. And as soon as you're approaching your deadline, you start getting emails to say, "Hey, you have something pending. You have something that's going to be due soon. Jump on and finish up."
The reminders are like that's a really good little automation pro tip for you guys. I think probably most task managers offer probably something like that. So I always joke, like I have a person on the team who's a VA, and her job is to basically like babysit Faith and be like, you need to do this now. Like, make sure this is done. These are the things like that have to be done, and kind of make sure I'm not missing deadlines. I have ADHD, and also, like we all do, a ton going on. But if you don't have a VA to babysit you, if you can't afford a VA babysitter, it sounds like those reminders are like a really good idea, like where it's like everybody on the team can get those little like, hey, like the deadline's coming, like, hey, it's due tomorrow, like, hey, you need to get it done today. So I love that I've never thought about looking into that, like the email reminders, but that's really cool. And I bet probably Asana and all of those probably have something similar, right?
Yeah.
And then what about you, Brittany? How do you you've got the kids, you've got all the things going on. How do you manage your day to day?
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of different things that I use, because
I want to hear about it. Tell me.
I know there's like so many.
I'm nosy. I'm like, I want to know what y'all are doing in your businesses.
So to be honest, like I like Asana for the same reason, like it's similar to Trello, where you can like tag people. So like project management, definitely like something like Asana, with my clients, if we're working on something and deadlines, I like that. That's one of them that I use. I'm a big, like, I write in my planner every day. Like, that's honestly, I know it's not a techie tool, but I have like my calendar on my phone linked to like my scheduling link and all of that. And I find I'm like a visual person. And I think, there's all these cool technology, these tools that are really great, but it's like, I have to see it like visually. Like, so one of the things like
Love
I
that. Yeah.
do is I write in my planner, what are my 3 like main goals that I want to accomplish that day? And then I write my to-do list, and I try not to tackle my to-do list until my 3 main goals are done. But I am not even kidding. And I'm feeling you on the ADHD. And I think we all have that because we're so overstimulated with, I have like a million tabs open, and you know what I mean? And I'm going back and forth, but I look at my planner at least 20 or 30 times a day, just because I'm like, I get distracted and I'm like, okay, what was I doing? And then I go, I'm like this, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? Because we get so easily sidetracked. So
you do like your 3 main priorities, like your 3 like must do's, and then you're like, and then I do like the
and then I do my to-do list. Yeah.
I love that. That sounds like a really good system.
And it really is, because like our mind, we tend to go to things that are like the easiest to do. Like I'll give you an example. I practice. I've been trying to learn Spanish pretty much for the last 10 years. And so I have the Duolingo like app, and I'm doing it. Like that is something like I have to write it down, and I put it on my to-do list. It's not a main priority, but I find that's sometimes the very first thing that I do in the morning, because it's the easiest for me. It's easiest. But like writing 3 emails for a launch, that is hard for me, because I'm like, oh, I've got to like tune in. So I write that down. So it's really a combination. I do love like Asana. I love a project management. That's really helpful with like deadlines and reminders. And it's my phone, it's my calendar, like that, like my Google and Apple calendar, whatever is, I'm constantly like, those are my reminders, but I have to write it down. I'm very
I feel you. And I think that's a good point, because I think sometimes we think like, oh, like everything should be like on tack and everything, but I do the same thing. I have like these little, they look like little clouds, they're just little sticky notes, and I write like my 3 things I need to do for the day, and then I just stick them on my monitor. And it's kind of like what you're saying. Like I think sometimes we think like, oh, it needs to be only tech and I should like eliminate the paper. But I think for me, like writing it down, it helps my brain. And then having it like stuck somewhere, or you said you have your planner in front of you, having something in front of you that's like an anchor, like when you do get distracted, that can kind of be a reminder. So I love what you're saying about the tech and the low tech stuff work together, right? Yeah. And so I really love, like, we use Asana as well. And I really love, we use it to plan the launches and the podcasts and all these, and the team assigns stuff to me in there. And I have like a, need Faith to respond to board and like all these different places. And I love having all of the tasks in one place. But then when I make my plan for the day, I do end up handwriting it. And I've tried so many different tech tools where I'm like, oh, it should all be digital and it should all sync together. And I really have found like the writing, the physical to-do list to be very helpful for me too. So that might be a tip for you guys too, is like, don't feel like you have to eliminate the planner just because you're using a task manager or a project manager. I think I would be curious how you guys think about your tools, because I kind of have in my mind, I kind of teach people you need like a task manager or a project manager that holds like your to-do list, some kind of like note-taking place where you're going to store your brain dumps and your ideas. And like we teach in the mastermind, they get like a brilliant idea board where it's like, if you have an idea for a podcast or you have an idea for an email, like it goes in there. And then you need some kind of calendar system where that has like appointments in your schedule and like that kind of stuff. And in my mind, those are kind of like the main pillars I use. But I'd be curious if you guys use kind of similar pillars, or if you have different pillars, or what do you think the main buckets are like people need to run a business, like buckets of tools, I guess.
Yeah. For me, I use Asana. I like it for project management, but I also use it for like content, like ideation, because what happens with me is I have a client or somebody who is struggling with a problem. And that's how I get my ideas for my blog posts, for social media. And it's just like throughout the day, somebody will ask a question, or I'm trying to figure out something. And so, and I think maybe it's my age, because I'm like getting up there, but I cannot remember stuff. I used to be able to store everything in my mind. Now I'm like, I've got to put it down somewhere.
Yeah, I'm like, everything lives in Asana, nothing lives in Faith's brain because
Yes,
it's not.
yes.
Like, I won't
So,
remember a week from
yeah,
now.
so that's what I do. So I have in Asana, I have my board set up where it is like content ideas. And I like to start with blogs. And that's usually where like my content like starts. And then I turn those into podcasts, or I turn those into like social media posts or newsletters or whatever. But I use Asana for content creation, and I'm just always brain dumping. Like, these are my ideas, like in here, like put them in here. So that's
I
kind of
like
what I
that.
use. So
Yeah, I like that. So you do task manager and
yeah,
ideas all in Asana. So
yeah,
that's a good point too, is like, you know, you guys don't have to have like special apps for everything, right?
yeah.
So I think sometimes we get the tech stack can get very complicated very quickly, where it's like, oh, I'm using this for this and this for this. And that's, if you guys thrive with that, that's okay. But you might want to look at like, what could I just do all of it in here or some of it in here. I just end up using the Notes app. I'm an Apple
Me
girly,
too.
so I just end up using
Yeah,
the Notes app all the time with like hashtags. And that's pretty
same,
much where I
same.
get my ideas.
Well, and I love that like the Notes app is like it's in sync with like my computer. So I
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
will
so
like
handy.
use Chat GPT like to help me come up with like maybe a caption idea, and then I copy and paste it in my notes, and then I put it on, post it on that way. So I love that they're like synced together, that you can use your desktop and then it goes to your phone too. So that's one of my
And
favorites.
then you have a calendar outside of Asana, or you use the calendar in Asana too?
No, so for my scheduling app, I use Acuity
Okay.
as a scheduling link. And then and so that's linked with my phone. And also, like, I'll add my own stuff, like anything that's not like an online call. So, like, if I have a networking event or something, I put it in there and they're synced. So I'm not like double like booking or over scheduling. And so that's what I do. Like the night before, I'm a big planner. So the night before, I go to my calendar, I write down all my appointments, and then I go to my goals and my to-do list. And so I kind of use them, hand in hand. That's what I
Nice.
do for scheduling. So
Nice. And then what about you, Miriam? Do you think about tech like kind of like in those pillars, like where it's like task manager? I do like task manager, notes, calendar. I feel like those are the big ones, like just everybody needs if you're going to have an online business. But I'm curious, like, do you think about it that way? And what do you kind of use for your,
So I'm going to address people that do other kinds of business.
yeah,
Right? Aside online business, you do both. You know, you
yeah.
need you need a tool, a workspace like Google Workspace. That
Mhm.
Google Workspace has several tools integrated into one business suite.
Yeah.
So Google Workspace has something like Gmail that you can use to create, and you can actually customize if you get the business suite. You can customize a business name with that, and or if you can also use Microsoft 365, which is also a business suite. And all you have to do is to invest a little amount of money into that so that you can optimize your business. And with Workspace, you have Gmail, you have Google Calendar, you have Google Doc, you have Google Sheet,
Yeah.
Google Slide, Google Keep, Google Chat, and Google Meet. You can see all the tools embedded in one business suite. So that is one tool that I will suggest that business people get if they want to
Yeah.
really put their business on a good scale out there, and also make it look or feel like a real business. And I have learned that along the line, that using some tech tools can make your job seamless. You can schedule like social
Mhm.
media. But like I said, I have a couple of tools that I can advise, small business owners to like invest in. Invest in tools like, if you want to do your what's it called now, payroll. You
Yeah.
can use Gusto. That's the
Mhm.
tool you can use for that. You can use Slack for communication, or you can use Google Chat for team communication, or Teams for communication, collaboration. So there's a lot of tools out there, technology tools that makes your work easy. You can also automate your work, like saving a lot of time, using automation like Power Automate by Microsoft. You can automate. I've used that a lot. on my job where I have to automate several tasks and saving hours that I can invest, I can put it into other, other strategic tasks in the company, and also help the company to save time and, deliberating on one thing for a longer period of time. So automation is one key thing that I would advise that business owners or even a professional learn to use. Like I tell people that what differentiates you from other people in the room is what you know that the next person doesn't know. And that's what makes people visible where they work. That's what makes them stand out on their businesses, because you're able to use some tools that some other business owners cannot use, and that like ranks you higher, in the list.
Yeah. Well, I think if you, especially with customer service stuff, like I'm thinking for us, like we might not have like customer service automated, but we certainly have like templates, and we use a lot of my team. Every time they do something, I'm like, write an SOP. So I'm like, if one of them, I mean, people have to leave and I have contractors, right? So I know they're not going to be here forever. Please don't quit, team. I love you. I have like such a good team right now. I'm like, everybody, please stay, please stay. But I know that they will like move on and do other things, right? They're all very talented and hardworking, and I have contractor jobs. And so I always want their jobs to be very documented. So it's like they can hand it to someone else to do. And so I think that's a good point of like looking at what are the things that you do every week? What are the things you do every month? I just had my team do this where I was like, look at your tasks and see like what are you spending time on? And do you think we're getting an ROI? Is there a simpler way to do it? Are there tasks we could eliminate? And I think automation can kind of go in that process too. When you're like looking at what do I do every day? What do I do every week? What do I do every month? It's like, is there a way I could make this faster? Like, is there a way I could make this easier? And it could be like the automation, like setting up automations. But for a lot of you guys, it's stuff that's simple, like making templates. Like instead of responding and writing out the customer service email every time, or responding every time you're booking a podcast, it's like, can you make a template email? And just looking at how can I make this task more efficient and faster? And all those things start to stack up over time. Right. I always say the business is like a time and money gremlin. It just always wants more time and more money from you. So it's like making your tasks, like you have to really make an effort to make things take less time. Otherwise, tasks and projects can just expand, expand, expand. And time is money in this game, right? So being able to automate those tasks and keep them simple and keep your workload minimal, I think is really, really important. And we actually use Google Suites. I kind of forgot about poor little Google Suites, but that is a big part of our business. And I'll tell you guys too, I think investing in some kind of cloud, like don't save things on your hard drive. And then if you have everything set up nicely, when you get a VA or you get a team, you've got all your files and all your stuff, and it's really easy to bring other people into your business. So I think that's a good thing to start right away too, is like some kind of cloud service, right? We use Google Office or Google Suite. And I kind of forget about poor old Google, but we do use it a lot. I do use Google Calendar, and we have everything in Google Drive. And then I'll use Google Docs and all that stuff too. So that's a good point. I feel like poor little Google Suite doesn't get a lot of love. What about email? What do you guys use for managing email? Do you guys just do the Gmail stuff? You have any special stuff you like for that right now, or just kind of standard?
I wanted to back up and say SOPs are like my love language. So I was like, what? SOPs, because I think that there's a lot of entrepreneurs who like kind of the evolution of being an entrepreneur is you're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't think of the foundations and the tools. I mean, their first thought is I need to be on social media. I need to have a website. I need to get clients. And they don't think of setting up the foundational systems and automations. And then
we're not taught ever how to do any of this stuff, right? So what happened to me, I'll tell you about my SOP experience, but my business was like, I had 3 businesses I was running at one time. We were doing like, I don't know, over 6 figures. I had one VA that was working for me, and it was so stressful every day in my business. She would sign on and start crying like every day. It was so stressful and overwhelming because we had and I'm like, I go move 100 miles an hour. So we have like 1,000 balls in the air. Nothing is organized. There's no Asana. There's no SOPs. It's all just chaos all the time. And I just thought that's how business was. And then I hired my business manager, Rebecca, who's still with me. And she was like, okay, like
You're a hot
you gotta
mess.
like make processes. Everything's going in a sauna. Like nothing is living in your brain anymore. Like this is like, and she came in and cleaned it all up. And now I'm the same way as you, where I'm like, everything must be documented. Everything has to be in a sauna. Everything has to be SOPs. And I never thought I would be that person. I was always just like, ew, restrictive, boring, gross.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh my God, I can't, like, even thinking about running a business like that, like makes my heart like speed up. It's just like, oh my God.
And I was going to say, I see that a lot with entrepreneurs where they're overwhelmed and they're like, oh, I'm super overwhelmed. My business, I need to hire a VA. And then they have to manage the VA because they don't have SOPs. They don't have any system.
Yeah. Managing a team without the SOPs is like, it's first of all, not a good use of money, not a good use of time, right? It becomes like time and money are your most valuable resources. And if you hire a VA and you don't have a very specific, like you have to have somewhere to put them. Like you can't just like bring someone in the business. This is what I did. And what I think a lot of people do is you're just like, I just need help. Like someone do something. But now it's like everybody has roles. They know what they're doing every week. They have tasks. I don't really spend that much time managing them. They really like self-manage themselves because all the SOPs and all of their tasks are in Asana. So I don't have to be, I don't know, telling them how to do everything all the time or telling them every single task to do. It's all there.
Yeah.
So I'm with you with the SOPs.
Yeah.
And it gave me so much more freedom. I think the other thing I thought was like, oh, it's going to be so restrictive and I like don't want a 9-to-5 and I don't like want my business to be like that. And I've gotten so much time back because I don't have to be thinking all the time about what has to be done. Like, I don't think we realize how much mental load you carry when you don't have your business set up correctly, but it was really, really draining me. And so I'm like SOPs to freedom. I'm with you, Brittany. If people are listening to this, where do you think people should start with SOPs? If they're like listening and they're like, oh, I don't have any SOPs, like what would you advise people do to get started?
Start with like really any task. Like I had mentioned, I have a nonprofit and I can't, it's a passion project. And so little things like social media, like how do you, there is a strategy with social media. It's engaging with other people, reposting old content, all of that. Write down the tasks as you are creating them. So what is it? Like for me, it can be I'm, logging in and I'm going to engage with 10 accounts. I'm going to engage with 10 hashtags. So it's just like start at those processes. And I'm a huge tutorial person because I'm a techie girl, but it's like screen record, create looms. How do you do these things? So I have all these tutorials. I use like Dropbox is where I put some of mine, Airtable. I put them in a bunch of different places. But so when I want my VA to, hey, can you, like, for example, I had somebody who was doing my podcasts and I had a VA. So, I have several different contractors and it wasn't working out with the podcast girl. So I was saying to my VA, hey, can you take this task over? And she was like, sure. I sent her my SOP and it's like hyperlinked to all the tutorials. I did not have to teach her a single thing, so it's true what you said, Faith, where you think it takes all this time, like, oh, I need to do these SOPs. But in all reality, it gives you so much freedom. And if you want to scale and grow your business, you have to, I always say, automate, delegate, eliminate. And so those are things.
That's a good one. Say it again. That was a good one.
Delegate, eliminate.
Okay. I love that.
So those are the things that, they take time. They do take time to build those SOPs and to record tutorials and to create templates. But that you can only grow so much when you're doing everything. At some point, if you want to scale, especially 6 figures and beyond, you have to eliminate things on your plate and delegate things on your plate because you won't have time to create more in your business, create different offers and more content when you're just like, you're working in your business all the time. So those are definitely things that you have to do. Take the time. One of the things I do, I'm a big time blocker. And so if I'm working on something like that, I'll say, 30 minutes. I'm going to work on this SOP for 30 minutes. And I set my watch, timer, and don't feel like you have to do it all at once. Again, those are things that are important in your business, but there's other things that are going to move the needle too. So make them important, but not like number one priorities, but slowly just work on those as you're doing it.
What about you, Miriam? Do you use SOPs, and like, do you have any advice for people if they want to start using them in their business?
Yeah, I use SOP, and I always want to start with the vision of my business. So, what exactly is my vision? Where am I going? And because if I don't have a vision, my employees will not know what to do or the direction we're going. So, what I do is to document. I use Confluence a lot, and I use Jira also. Confluence is where I document all the processes. Like, okay, what are the things that we do? This business, this vision that I have, what do I need to do? What are the step by step? Every day, this is where I'm going. How do I get there? What are the things that I have to put in place to get to the next level? So, like, like setting up your social media page. Am I getting a feedback?
Yeah, it was like echoing. It's gone now. Does it
Okay.
sound okay to you?
Okay, so setting up your social media page, setting up email platform. Like I have an email platform that I use. And I was using MailChimp before, then I moved to MailerLite. Now I use MailerLite because I'm trying to like make the right decision in terms of money. So yeah, so I set up automation on MailerLite. I do a lot of landing pages on MailerLite. MailerLite is a tool that I would advise a small business owners to try to use, and I get different mailing lists in that same tool where I can segment. These are the people that like this kind of content. These are the people that like this kind of content. So when I'm sending out my emails, I don't send to everyone in my mailing list. I pick groups of people that have. I do personalized content, and I send to people that have the trait of that same content that I'm sending out. So those are some of the things I do, and I document them because, like you rightly said, contractors will come and go, and I want to pass this on to whoever comes on my team and jump on and get up to speed like immediately. So this is a great way to getting them up to speed.
I like what you said about starting with the vision too, of like, where are you going, and then finding the tools you need to execute that. Cause I think something that happens is like people go out on the internet, in the internet streets, right? And they start like wandering around and they're like, oh my gosh, like I need Airtable? I need Asana. I need this, I need that. And it's like, there's so many shiny objects in this space. And also I think with AI, like things are going to be changing a lot really quickly. There's a ton of money being like just pumped into tech right now. And so I think we'll see like a lot of new tools coming out and a lot of things changing. And like, it can be very easy to feel like, oh, this is like the hot new thing. I need to like go over here. But I think like to your point, Miriam, like staying rooted in like, where are we going? And like, what are we actually trying to do? And when you have that clarity, then you can find the tools where it's like, okay, I think like we really could use a tool to help us do this. And that way you're really finding the tools that fit your needs versus like kind of chasing the new, like there's a sale on this, or I'm totally guilty of going on AppSumo and getting like distracted and being like, oh, maybe like we need this tool or we need that. Right. And a lot of times it can end up being, it can be a big time suck if you aren't focused on what you're trying to actually accomplish and what the needs are of the business. Megan asked kind of a spicy little question. She said, any tech tools you despise? In all caps. You guys have anything where you're just like, people use this, but like, I don't get it. Like, that's not for me. Do you guys have anything like that comes to mind?
I don't know if I have any that I despise, but I will say kind of like what you just said. I feel like a lot of people get sucked into like, oh, I need this and I need that and paying. And because I think that's a big issue with entrepreneurs is their overhead is so high because they have all these programs. And it really is when you
subscriptions are getting out of control. Can I just say?
Yeah.
Just like, damn,
and I think if I try really hard, especially depending on where my clients are in their journey, I try really hard to say like, okay, you can use this. There's workarounds that you can do this for free. If you, but a lot of times people don't understand the capabilities of their program. So they're like double dipping where they're like, oh, I need, like Zapier is one of my favorites because it's a tool that links, it kind of talks to different apps and links them.
There's so much you can do with it.
It's so much you can do with Zapier, but a lot of these programs, and Zapier has, I think they have 3 Zaps for free or 5 Zaps for free before you have to pay to get more than 5 Zaps.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of programs have integrations built in already. People just don't realize that you can, like, people are like, oh, I need to do a Zap for this. And I'll look in their business. I'll say, oh, there's a built-in integration. You don't need to create, you don't need to pay. You can already integrate it. You just have to set up the integration. Meaning,
really good point. I feel like my team is like kind of little ninjas at this, but I'll say like we are still on the free plan in Asana and the free plan in Airtable, but my team knows, they're like, okay, this is how they'll do like little workarounds where they're like, well, Airtable's saying we need to upgrade, but I think if we move these bases like over here and we like, take so-and-so out of this account, then we can stay on the free one. And I'm like, do it, like save me some cash, please.
Yeah.
And they're so good at it.
I have those same programs and I'm the same way where I'm like, oh, you don't.
We have not upgraded. I keep thinking like we're going to upgrade. And I tell them, I'm like, if you guys need like whatever you need, like I'll pay for it. Right. But I'm like, but we've been able to get away. You can get away with a lot when you really look at like, what is the free plan and how can I stay on the free plan?
I know.
And when it tells you to upgrade, like go look at like, do I need to upgrade? Like, we've done it with Zoom where it's told us like we had to upgrade and we were like, well, why? And like, what is that? And do we need that? And is that affordable? And we actually ended up figuring out we could get Dropbox and put the storage in there for like a fraction of the price. So looking at like when programs tell you sometimes like, do you need to upgrade? I'll email them too. I just emailed my rep at Kajabi being like, hey, like it's saying we have to upgrade. Like, I just need this function. Like, can I get that? And they said like, no, but I've had other programs like work different things out for me, right? Where they'll be like, oh, like if you just need one more person and you don't need all these other features, like sometimes they'll just let you have somebody or they'll change it around. So I'm always like, ask for, I don't know, just ask like if you need to upgrade or ask.
Or say you're going to cancel or say you're going to cancel. I mean, that there's nothing like saying hey, you're going to lose me as a customer.
Like a Comcast.
I'll help you. Yeah,
I'm leaving.
Sure. You'd asked me this earlier. I use Flowdesk as my email marketing. I started with MailChimp. I always, because I have a photography background and graphic design, I'm an aesthetic snob. I admit it. I'm totally guilty. But Flowdesk has the most beautiful templates. And so that is the one that I use. And I was going to say actionable steps. If you were to start with anything automation, I always, like when I start working one-on-one, it's like automate your onboarding process. And you can do that with Flowdesk, with MailerLite, you can use it with any of them, but it's like onboard the invoicing, onboard, like if there's an intake form, anything you're doing over and over and over again, there's a way to automate it. If it's the same thing.
And simplify it. Yeah.
And I love Flowdesk, and I'm their unofficial. I always say I'm their unofficial spokesperson. So I have a coupon code if you want to set like
if you guys want it, Flowdesk, hit Brittany up. I'll tell you.
Hit me up. Really, I have a 50% off coupon. But honestly, and I'm not even just saying that. I think that they have a beautiful templates. They're user friendly. It's one price. It doesn't keep raising as you get subscribers, but you can do a ton of stuff with your email marketing. As far, Miriam said, like segment it. Yeah, I have segments for my membership, segments for one-on-one, segments for my main list, and segments for a local. So it really is such a great tool to use to have an email marketing program.
I love that we all have different email platforms, and I'll tell you guys too, like for you guys listening, one of the things I heard kind of newer entrepreneurs get hung up on with tech is like, what's the best email thing or what's the best website place? And like, there's no best one at this point. Like you guys have so many great options. Like, I mean, even just compared to Brittany, you guys have both been online, like, longer than I have even, but even in the last 8 years, I've been online full time. Like, the tools now are so much better and there's so many more options. And like, I just want to reassure you, if you're listening, don't worry about finding the best one. Don't worry. You don't have to have the best thing. You just need something that can get the job done, that's in your budget. And I'll tell you guys too, like it can feel like people will start researching and go down these rabbit holes and they'll just be researching task managers for days. And like you really want to be careful, like, and watch your time. And like, is that the most valuable way you can be using your time? And I'll tell you guys too, you can research all you want. All this shit is going to be different a year from now. like we're going to have task managers and stuff like we can't even conceive of yet. I really think that. So I'm like, just pick something for now. It's all going to be different and like hang on and be adaptable and just get started with something, right? You can always
who do you use, Faith, for email marketing?
Kajabi. I'm like bumping around going back to ConvertKit. I really love ConvertKit for email, but I'm a nerdy funnel girly, right? So you're like aesthetic. I'm like ConvertKit with those funnel data. It's so good. So I look at going back to that. I don't love Kajabi's email analytics and I don't love their funnels personally. So I don't know. I was job done, right?
This is something I read for take it for what it is, but because I use Kajabi too, and I love Kajabi, and it's really hard to find an all-in-one program, and that's what's hard. But I was reading the other day about, because what happens is like Kajabi does not have. They're designed for same with their website. You don't have as many capabilities as WordPress. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just different, and it's the same with email. You don't have as good as analytics. It's a little bit harder, but somebody was saying that like, sometimes when it's like an email marketing and that's all they focus on, they're doing all they do all day long is research email marketing and understanding the spam folders and the different algorithms and stuff like that. And when you get stuff like a Kajabi that has an all-in-one, there's usually some area, and I don't know how like good their email marketing is because I've never used it, but there's always some area where it's just not as good because they're for online courses, and they are awesome at online courses, and it is bomb. Their online courses are so good. But that's one thing that I read. Take it for what it is. Like you said, it's always changing. You never know.
Well, I'm recommending for new people, I don't even recommend Kajabi anymore because I feel like, when they started, they were the only all-in-one. Like that was the game in town. Like that was it. Like it was like you can either do it where everything's connected with Zap, but if you wanted it all in one, Kajabi was kind of the only game in town. But now I'm really recommending people start on System.io because it's website, it's email, it's landing pages. It has all the capabilities that Kajabi has, and it's a fraction, like a tiny fraction of what we pay for Kajabi. So if you guys do want it all in one, like I don't even know that I would recommend Kajabi anymore. I don't feel like they've kept up with the times. Like I feel like now I pay like premium price to Kajabi and I don't get premium service anymore compared to what's on the market. Right. And so I feel like they've been kind of slow to adapt, which unfortunately for tech is like, not necessarily what you want to be seeing in a platform. I've been saying this about them and to them for years where I'm like, they just aren't keeping up with like the changes. It seems like there's maybe some issues with their tech and development teams to me, like as a customer looking in.
Yeah.
So anyway, what about you, Miriam? Do you have any things you despise? Any tech tools you're just like, people use it, but I don't like that is not for me. Do you have anything like that?
I wouldn't say I despise, but I tired of like the Power Domain is one tool that sometimes if you don't get it right, it just keeps breaking because sometimes I create like different layers of automation and I have like 4, 5, 6 tools integrated into this same automation. And if one of them breaks, and then that means there's going to be a problem. And you might not know because you set it up and just went ahead to do your thing. And things are coming in and it's broken. Or there's a bug somewhere, it's just broken. And then it becomes something else that you have to go back to. So I love it. I love what it does, but you have to be very careful. That's why I said
that's a good point too, because I think sometimes people make automations on like you just automated and that's like it, and it's like, well, there is like maintenance and like things have to be updated and you got to make sure it's working. So that's a good point, right? It's like not maybe as like you don't get to just like take a lifelong nap after
exactly
automations.
Keep going back to check. Okay, is everything still okay? Okay, I'm good. I go back to my next thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and letting me kind of look and like get nosy and I love hearing about like behind the scenes of other people's businesses. I just think it's so interesting. I don't know, just seeing how people do what they do every day and what tools they're using and what they love. If you guys are listening, hopefully this gives you some ideas of things you can start using for tech in your business. You guys want to go one more time and just for anybody that popped on, just tell everybody real quick who you are, what you do, where we can find you, and then go ahead and shout out your free gifts again, because I want to make sure they get your guys's free stuff you brought too. Miriam, why don't you go first this time? We'll switch it up.
My name is Miriam Adeyemi, and I am a senior analyst, and I have a tech training company, Techavili, and you can visit techavili.net. We have some courses that you might want to jump on, and we have a lot of free courses also there. And right now we have 50% on all the courses on the website. You can go ahead if you want to do anything that has to do with project management, data analytics. We have PowerPoint presentation for people that want to learn how to create PowerPoint, stunning PowerPoint presentation. We have a free course, absolutely free. And then we have Excel, absolutely free. And it's timeless. So just go ahead, jump on at your free time, and it's self-paced. You can actually do that. Yeah.
There's so much you can do with Excel too, you guys. Like, I feel like it's a really powerful, I know it's like, it's been around forever, but it's there because it works and it's a really powerful program. So just taking the time to learn how to actually use it. Like, I think, like I've really just started actually learning all the things we can do in Excel and Google Sheets and Airtable and all that. And it is like so powerful once you know. So definitely go check that out. If that's a tool you use, I think it's definitely worth taking the time and really learning it really well. And Miriam could definitely help you with that. And then Brittany, what about you? Let's hear from you, who you are, what you do, your freebie, all the things.
Brittany Schroeder. I do business and marketing. I specialize in automation systems and building funnels and just scaling. So I have a membership, I do one-on-one. My freebie is email funnel, like a guide for building funnels. So a high converting sales funnel guide. So, and then I'll also include, if you're interested in checking out Flowdesk, I will send you my coupon code for 50% off there. But yeah, that is what I do. I help like automate and build these systems that we're talking about. I'm the techie girl. I like to dive in and help you free up your time so you can make more and work less. The American dream, right? So
nice. Are you guys on social media? Where can we like stalk you if they want to hang out and see more from you? Where should they go?
I'm everywhere, but my main platform is Instagram, and it's just Brittany.Schroeder. And that is where I repurpose all my stuff. I'm everywhere, but if that's where I usually am, like live, I spend the most time is Instagram for sure.
Okay.
I'm also everywhere. And then I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, but I play more on Instagram and I put more things on Instagram. I do a lot of live videos. I do
nice.
videos, and I do a lot of tips. I share tips and tricks on how to, especially if you want to jump on corporate. I do a lot of tips and tricks on how to get a good job, how to pivot. I share from my wealth of experience with people. And you can also visit Techavili on Instagram, TECHAVILLY, Techavili, just Techavili. Or you can put techavili.training. And my Instagram page is Miss Mimi Official. MS Mimi Official.
Okay. You guys follow them on Instagram, and we'll put all the links. If you guys are listening, we'll put all their links in the podcast show notes. And then these also go up on the blog. So we'll put all the links up on the blog post tomorrow too when it goes live on the blog. So we'll have all the links for you guys. And thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. It's so fun like chatting with other entrepreneurs. I just love talking little nerdy business stuff. And it was so fun connecting with you guys. And I appreciate you taking your time and being here with us and sharing all your knowledge with us. I'm Faith Mariah. You guys can find me at faithmariah.com if you want to find more Power Hour episodes, podcast episodes. We have a free training coming up soon. Check out all the things, and I'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.